to you all. This is Creative Works by Annie, and welcome to my channel. It's coffee time. A little selfless plug here. Let's see, can you see that pretty good? My blood type is coffee, and so I made mugs to reflect that. If you want to get your mug, I'll put the link down below so that way you can head over to my Etsy shop and pick one up. So I had a few questions today. Let me take a sip. And first one was, how do I decide to, I know I just like right into questions. Ooh. It's that kind of a morning. Well, let's get to it though. They wanted to know, how do I decide whether to make a DC in the fourth chain to make a loop, or to chain and join in the first chain stitch made to form a loop, or magic circle and stuff like that. Well, it just depends on the pattern. Sometimes for me the center calls for it being open, and other times it calls for being closed. So really, the making a chain and then joining it into the first chain made or farthest from the hook and then working in that is really no different than a chain 4 and a DC into the first chain to form a loop and then working over the DC as well as the chain. Now, as for magic circles, I've never mastered them, and there's a lot of people out there that hasn't. If I create a pattern that says, oh, feel free to use a magic circle, I will totally note that on the pattern. But a way that I get away with not doing a magic circle and keeping it tight is, say, chaining 4 and then working 15, say I need 16 double crochets in the center of the circle or the center of my doily. I will then crochet 15 double crochets in that last chain and work my way around, joining them at the top. And that's my way of keeping the center tight and solid without using a magic circle. So you can see by the pictures right here and my little notations and stuff like that what really the difference in the finished product looks. So you can adjust how you want to do it. But that's basically my way of thinking. Is I don't know. I just do it when I create a pattern. Whichever look I want to go for. Whichever look I want to go for that also makes it easier on you. Okay? Because I'm long-winded and you don't need me to be even more long-winded on a pattern. So I got another question here, and it says, how do you come up with your crochet designs? Well, yesterday I woke up with a terrible migraine and I couldn't go back to sleep. So I made a pot of coffee and ate a little something and took some migraine pills. So with all that caffeine, I knew I couldn't do my painting because I have a painting commission I got to get done. But I could sit there and do computer work. Well, unfortunately, the computer had no Wi-Fi because my internet sucks. So I decided to write a pattern. And it kind of just, some patterns write themselves. This one did. And I'm hoping to have it finished writing tomorrow morning because I got to start a postmortem and work on the painted caskets for my next commission piece. So this one's either going to be called Catacombs or Boneyard. So comment down below if you like the name Catacombs or Boneyard better, and we'll see which one fits in the end. See which one it's going to be named after. So also asked, how do I know when I create a pattern where the stitches are going to go? Sometimes it just works out that way. It just naturally flows and creates a piece. Where there's other times where you have to count, make sure it's balanced, make sure it's not too pulled too tight. This stitch might work better than this stitch. Say a popcorn stitch might look a little bit better than a 3D cluster. Or a fan stitch might look better than something else. Or a V-stitch might be needed instead of a single DC. Or if I want to make sure it's filled in a little bit more, but I want a certain stitch count, I might use a DC together or a DC tog instead of a regular double crochet. So that way it's a little bit fatter, but I still have the same stitch count. Okay. This question I'm gonna read just like it is. They asked, I know people suggest ideas of what they would like me to create, but how do you, me, go from an idea to actually looking like how you want it to be? So take, for example, I might not be saying this right because I'm not in the medical field, the Claudis symbol that I created a pattern for. I had a gal write me and ask if I could make a pattern up for her. And she referred to the postmortem pattern, how I did the skeleton in it. So I said, sure, I'll take it up. And certain word I use, but it's like, whoo, right on my mind right now. Challenge accepted. I think that's what I said. So to begin with, I will do a Google search, I will go onto Ravelry, I will go onto Etsy, and I will see if somebody already created something like that. I will do my research and see if there is something, if there's not something, is it needed? And can I make it better than what's out there? So in this case, there was no real patterns out there. I think there was one, but it wasn't a doily. So I looked up the original symbol, what it is, and I decided to try to break it down into stitches. And then I just play with it. It's a lot of frogging, a lot of comparisons, a lot of different, even sometimes more research. Can I do this better this way? And so on and so forth. The Claudis symbol has wings. So I even had to look up wings. How do I crochet wings? How do I improve the wings? How do I make the wings look like the symbol and not a typical bird wing? So there was quite a bit of work to go into that one. But generally just research, quick sketches, and stuff like that. Now I'll answer a different part of how do you come up with your crochet designs. I have a weird mind. Let me get a little sketch real quick. I have a weird mind. I don't know if anybody else has this kind of a thing, or if it's just my brain, or if there's other artists out there like this. But I can picture things ahead of time. I can see what will be. I can plan out a drawing or a sketch. If my cats wake me up and I'm still trying to fall asleep or back to sleep, but they won't stop bugging me, I will just lay there and I can sketch in my brain. I can turn things and move things, colorize things, and then I can come back to my office and either make a quick sketch or just start working on it, or just jot a note down. Hey, do this. So, like, if you don't know by now, I'm making a tree of life for county fair competition that one of my friends and testers goes, and she takes it up to Pennsylvania, and she'll bring it here and there, and I try to win awards. And so I'm doing the Tree of Life pattern, which I will hopefully have another update soon on that, because I just had to rip it all out, so stay tuned. So while I was laying in bed, I'm thinking, how am I supposed to make a center that you guys can do, as well as do the border of the Tree of Life skull? So I came up with a couple of sketches. See, just simple little things. It's a square, and it has some pattern in it, or rectangle, and it has it kind of off wonky. So that's just, sometimes they go by sketches, sometimes they just flow out of me and work from there. So I hope that answered any questions. And if you would like to ask me any questions or find a topic for me to rattle on about, comment down below. If you would like a coffee cup, please go to my Etsy page and pick one up. And did you notice it's on the wrong side? So the blank side's facing you, and everybody will know your blood type is coffee. So it's for all of us righties. My son's a lefty. He'd be blanking it. Yeah. Well, anyways, go and check out the cups. The link's down below, and I hope this was informative. Please look for the Tree of Life skull, or the Tree of Life pattern, coming out hopefully this week. Another updated video. You can watch or listen to me laugh and cry because I had a frog so much of it. And hopefully in a couple weeks I'll have another pattern coming out to you just in time for the next holiday. And if you haven't seen or picked up my Skullentine pattern yet, or my For the Love of Skulls pattern, go to my Etsy page, where you'll be able to find the For the Love of Skulls combined with the Skullentine pattern. Or you can go to Ravelry and either pick up the single For the Love of Skulls and the free pattern for Skullentine, and then find the video and crochet with me. So I think that's it. If you haven't picked that up, I got quite a coffee buzz going, so I'm a little woohoo, flying and chatting. So I think that's it. And we will see you next week, hopefully with some more questions, or if somebody wants me to rattle on about a topic, feel free to comment, and we will see you next week. Cheers.